Here it finally is. Everyone's been clamoring for the sequel to the 1993 masterpiece that was Hocus Pocus. Was it worth the wait? Hocus Pocus 2 released this past weekend on Disney Plus and is directed by Anne Fletcher, who has also directed such films like Step Up, 27 Dresses, The Proposal, Guilt Trip, and Hot Pursuit. And this film is starring Sam Richardson, Whitney Peak, Melissa Escobedo, Tony Hale, Hannah Waddingham, but of course you need the returning cast of Bette Midler, Sarah Jessica Parker, Kathy Najimy, and Doug Jones. It has been 29 years since the events of the original Hocus Pocus film, and the small town of Salem, Massachusetts has gone on peacefully ever since. But local magic shop owner Gilbert the Great has a burning desire to bring the Sanderson sisters back. So he tricks local teenagers who do their own little Halloween witcheries ritual thing into lighting the black flame candle. So now the Sanderson sisters are back, and instead of stealing people's souls, they are out looking for absolute power. So what happened back in 1993 never happens again. And you gotta appreciate that they did change tactics. They're not just going after the children anymore. Now it's about this spell in the book that apparently has ultimate power, but the book doesn't like for you to use the spell for some reason. Well, I guess the reason is revealed, and I don't want to spoil it, but you know, for reasons. But it's a nice little MacGuffin for a sequel that everyone, I'm pretty sure everyone, has craved for the last 29 years, which they made a very deliberate point to make, that it's only been 29 years since 1993, not 30. And in the case of some of the returning stars like Sarah Jessica Parker, that 29 years shows. Now, I went into this thing with a lot of fear because I love the original Hocus Pocus from 1993. It's one of my favorite Halloween films. It's a tradition in my household. We watch it every single year. It's that freaking good. We have that much nostalgia with it. So to hear that they were finally making a sequel to this movie, I was just dreading it, because it's like, no, it's not going to be good. They're going to rehash every single joke and every single musical beat and really every story beat from the original, and it's not going to be good, and it's going to be a huge letdown. And a lot of those things that I just said, they did, but this movie turned out to be very cute in the end. It took a while getting to that point, though, because that prologue, like, I was grabbing my wife's leg in pain, just saying, like, oh, should we turn this off now? This is terrible. The movie opens, and it's a flashback to, like, old Salem, back when the Sanderson sisters were kids, and they hired these 3 child actors to do their best impersonation of Bette Midler and the gang, and it was awful. Like, apparently Winnie only walked around like this the entire time because, you know, she did that a couple of times in the original, so the child actor's like, yep, this is how my character walks and talks and acts. I'm an actor! And then don't get me started on the other 2. I don't even, we're not talking about them at all. Let's just stop talking about the prologue, because it was god-awful. If you go into this movie, if you haven't watched it yet, push through that first 20 minutes or however long this prologue was. Because once we get introduced to the new cast and the new teenagers from this new era, I actually start enjoying this thing. Melissa Escobedo and Whitney Peak have great chemistry on screen. They have a great presence on screen. You look at them and you go, yeah, you're definitely owning the camera. You're owning the scenery, and I'm enthralled by both of your performances, and I'm intrigued by this new story. Okay, I'm completely forgetting that prologue, and now I'm kind of into this thing. And then that's only amplified by Sam Richardson, who has just chemistry oozing out of his pores. He is just owning the scenery in every single scene that he is in. He was great. A little hammy and a little cheesy at times, but again, Just great chemistry. Which then leads to the entry and the return of the Sanderson sisters, and they come in rocking and rolling like crazy. They start singing Elton John, which I'm shocked that this is a Disney Channel movie, and they're singing The Witch is Back. And for all those kids who are going to Google, hey, what's that original song? And then it's going to bring up the Elton John song, and it's going to be like, oh, okay, parents, don't you love that? But the Sanderson sisters seem more devilish and more just evil this time around, because they're not taking any chances. When they see the two teenagers, they're gonna basically kill them, or at least try to kill them. Like in the original, they were playing around with the kid witch in the chair, and they were like toying with her, like, nuh-uh, that's not happening. They're throwing out lightning bolts and everything. So at that point in the movie, I'm starting to enjoy it. I'm starting to get into it. But then we start getting into the same exact formula that we had in the original movie, and I kind of sit back thinking, okay, it's great nostalgia, it's great seeing all of these people again, but it's trying to be the same movie as it was before. Of course, the Sanderson sisters make their way into a crowd and onto a stage where all of a sudden they start performing, and then the audience starts performing with them, just like they did in the original one, so again, it's all formulaic. The movie is trying to be very progressive, though, because the Sanderson sisters come on stage, and it's the Sanderson sister costume contest, but you look over to the side and you see a couple of RuPaul's drag queens on the stage. I'm like, oh my god, that's awesome! This is a Disney movie? Cool! We also flash to a gay couple watching a movie in their living room while the Sanderson sisters are outside their house looking for the mayor because they need his blood. I like how progressive this movie is and how progressive Disney has become a little bit over the last year or so. Which did bring me to a little issue that I had with this movie. The movie that the couple was watching on the TV was Hocus Pocus from 1993. It was the little scene where the devil and his wife, who had the little hair rings in her hair, Medusa, it was at that part. So I was like, wait a minute, that's Hocus Pocus the movie, and that happened in 1993, so is this like a meta representation, like that happened and then it was converted into a movie? Or was the 1993 version, like, did those events happen, but then someone made a movie about that, and then we're watching it, wow, my brain hurts. It's something that I couldn't stop thinking about the rest of the time. But it does all build to a pretty satisfying climax, and actually a very heartfelt and emotional climax. I don't know if they would continue this as a franchise. I feel like they're trying to plant the seeds so that they could make a Hocus Pocus 3, or maybe a spin-off Hocus Pocus TV series on Disney Plus or something. But in the end, Hocus Pocus 2, is it absolutely necessary? Definitely not. It comes nowhere close to the magic that was the original. We still have the original, but it's a cute little nice side piece that you could watch with that movie if you choose to. It's not required viewing. I'm gonna give Hocus Pocus 2 3 out of 5 Blu-rays.
Not exactly what I had in mind, but not bad.
So guys, have you seen Hocus Pocus 2? What did you think about it? Or if you've never seen it before and you stumbled across it because of this video, then comment below, let me know what you thought about it. And as always, if you like what you see here, if you like my take on movies, then hit the subscribe button and make sure you hit that bell. See you all the next time I release my next movie review. So guys, I will see you next time on the channel, but in the meantime, be well, be good to each other, and go watch a movie. Take care, guys.